VIBErations podcast, part 32, Shirley Johnson. Hi, I'm Gary Brightman, and this is my bi-weekly podcast called VIBErations. Established in 2018, Vibe is a book and music shop situated in Mui Wo on Lantau Island in Hong Kong. So what's been happening at the shop over the past couple of weeks? The other Saturday, like most Saturdays these days, a large group of 8 to 16-year-olds formed outside of the shop. Around 20 of them, with the supervisor typically at the back. Shunting the kids in, they then generally walk around the shop in an embarrassed daze, while I find out from the supervisor, what were they here for? Normally, the answer is, mirror fans, and we proceed to the mirror shrine and I give them the holy mirror relic to have their photos taken with. Happy days. However, this particular week, when I finally got to the back of the group of 20 14-year-olds, the supervisor explained that they were over on a field trip weekend from Tai Po and wanted to interact with English-speaking people. I guess because they were all from Hong Kong state schools. As ever, they were well behaved, except one naughty boy pulling everything out and trying the baseball caps on. That probably would have been me back in the day, so I couldn't get angry enough with him. Just grumpy old man level. Having wandered around the shop for a bit, and generally trying to engage with me in conversation, they wanted a picture together outside of the shop, which we all did, having to form my fingers into the Spock live long and prosper hand manoeuvre, as was requested. The supervisor then asked if I'd speak to the group of kids and offer some sort of encouragement and generally communicate with them. As I looked out at the sea of innocent, hopeful faces, I had a Monty Python moment, where Brian opens the door to his flat naked and is welcomed by a group of 500 disciples. "I'm not the Messiah! Will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah. Do you understand? Honestly." Girl in the crowd. "Only the true Messiah denies his divinity." Brian Cohen. "What? Well, what sort of chance does that give me?" "All right, I am the Messiah." So I then proceeded to tell them how I worked hard all of my life so I could run a shop at the end of it, and how they should first learn to love themselves before they could love others. One girl wanted to become a United Nations ambassador, and when I said there was no reason why she shouldn't, a gasp went up through the crowd. Inspiring stuff, and I was humbled by their respect. Good luck to you all, guys. Hong Kong's answer to Glastonbury is the Clockenflap Festival, which over the past 12 years or so has gone from strength to strength. The last performances for the annual festival in 2018 were Wolf Alice, Vaccines, Interpol, Jarvis Cocker, Stormzy, and the fabulous David Byrne. Since that time, and due to COVID-19, the festival has been suspended. However, I have it on good authority that this year's festival, slated for the 26th to the 28th of November, will go ahead. Wahoo! As well as local authors and artisans, we like to promote local musicians and singers. So if you fancy performing a tiny desk gig at the shop one Saturday, or know someone who may do, then please contact me directly. And so, to this week's interview. Shirley Johnson, also known as the Shirminator, is a proud and self-proclaimed Tong Fuker. When she was pregnant with her first child, she sensed a strong kick in her tummy when she came across a property development advertisement in a Cheung Sha newspaper. She believed it was a message from her unborn child, that was where she wanted to spend her childhood. Shirley and husband started house hunting in South Lantau, a part of the island that she never visited. Well, it was love at first sight, and the rest was history. A former jetsetter in the glamorous luxury sector, Shirley dedicates her second career in making a difference and helping people to heal. She is a life coach, yoga and meditation teacher, Reiki healer, writer and online business owner. You may have heard of Lantau Ren, a local lifestyle brand of designs inspired by its namesake. Alright, so welcome to Vibe, Shirley.
Hi Gary, thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor.
Thank you for coming. We'll start off with the 10 questions. Favourite book or author?
Daniel Silva.
Daniel Silva, okay.
Yes, so he is an American journalist and an author of thriller and espionage novels.
Okay.
So I'm sure you know James Bond.
Ian Fleming and etc. Yes.
So imagine it's similar to James Bond, but it's for the Israeli intelligence.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So it's actually very exciting, and Daniel Silva, because of his background in journalism, so he usually does amazing research and has lots of accurate historical facts that you will find in his novels, and the twist, the plot is very exciting.
Okay.
So basically, he has this series surrounded by Gabriel Allon, which is the equivalent of James Bond.
Right.
But
Gabriel Allon.
Yeah, Allon,
yeah.
For the Israeli intelligence.
Okay.
And he usually has one book out every year. And I've read all of them, and today is my favorite series.
On to question 2. Who is your favourite musical artist?
Goten Project is like tango flipped. Is Argentinian group who's based in Paris, because I used to dance tango, Argentinian tango a lot. I love dancing, and Argentinian tango is my favorite dance.
Yes.
Because of how sensual it is.
Yeah.
So I started to look into the music, and but the traditional Argentinian tango music is very slow, very soft, but Goten Project actually gave it a modern twist. It's a combination of the traditional Argentinian tango bass with a bit of electronic. So very interesting, very upbeat. But actually, I think many people have heard of the music because if you watch a movie, every time they want to portray, it's the Paris scene.
Yes.
They play Goten Project music.
Ah, right. So we all kind of know it, but we just don't know it's them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Before I had babies, getting married, when I was still single, I used to go to what they call milonga.
Okay.
It's like an Argentinian tango get together and dance, and they usually do in the evening. I used to go 3 to 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah,
so
really
that is an addiction, Shirley,
yeah.
really, isn't it? You were addicted to it, and from a long time then, really. So if it's before the kids were born.
Yes, a long time ago. I think at least 10 to 15 years ago. Basically being introduced to me by my friend. She's actually from Norway.
Okay.
So she was my roommate back then, and she asked me where she could go dance tango. I said, what's Argentinian tango? I've never heard of it.
In Hong Kong as well, which is,
Yeah, so I started to ask around for her, and then she invited me to go with her.
Right.
And it was love at first sight.
Oh, wow.
It's not like the traditional tango where you see the dancers having the rose in their mouth.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's a bit of a cliche, is it?
Yes, but a lot more sensual and more embraced.
Intimate.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, interesting.
And it's a bit different from the other dances where you have to learn the steps and follow through certain routines. But Argentinian tango is something that you learn the basic and you're supposed to forget all about it, because you're supposed to improvise and follow.
So you just
feel
the
music, just feel it. That's why it's so sensual, it's so beautiful.
Okay.
And I was really in love with it, and for years.
Question 3, preferred drink.
It's actually something spicy and uplifting.
Yeah.
So if I will have to choose one drink that I can drink any time of the day, would be ginger lemonade.
Fresh ginger or ginger from the
Fresh
can?
ginger.
Okay, and so do you have a life motto?
It's been proven many times it works. My life motto is believe to receive. Because when we believe in something, we actually, because our brain is very magical.
Yeah.
It cannot distinguish between reality and fantasy.
Ah, okay.
So when you can actually make your brain into believe something is real.
Yes,
So
true.
yeah, so it's basically wires your whole body, and you start to draw those experiences to you. Our thinking affects our feelings,
Yes.
and our feelings affects our behavior,
Yes.
and our behavior in result affecting how things turn out.
Actions
Yeah,
and
actions.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Do you have a favourite Hong Kong walk?
I grew up in the city, so I'm
Yes.
not really much a walk person.
Yes.
Only after we moved to Lantau, shared between myself and my husband, is
Yeah.
the walk between Tonfoka Beach and Cheung Sha Beach.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely walk.
It's like
yeah.
the beach never ends, and
Yes.
it's just the right amount of everything.
Yes.
Walking and the nature and the sea breeze, and when we get to Cheung Sha, we can
Yeah.
have a young coconut, have
Yeah.
lemonade,
Yes.
and then head back. Is just so peaceful. I think the most amazing part is during the walk,
Yeah.
we just overwhelmed with the gratitude.
Yes.
I think that's the essence of the walk.
Yeah.
Is to remind us how lucky we are.
Do you have a favourite Hong Kong restaurant?
So far, I probably will call it my favorite because of the sensational experience I've
Yeah.
ever had there. Is actually the Mandarin Grill and Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, I didn't think you were going to say that. Mandarin Bar and Grill.
The food and the service was exceptional, and also
Yes.
because it was the first meal with my husband and my parents-in-law as a family.
Ah,
so
that's nice.
I always remember that meal, and it was so enjoyable.
Yes.
And the food was perfect. Everything was perfect.
Faced with a python whilst walking up to the peak, what would you do?
Wow. First of all, I probably would feel very lucky that it's not in my house.
Yes, yes.
Your question reminds me, when I was still dating with my husband, we used to hang out a lot with his guy friends.
Yeah.
And then when guys, they came together, they kept asking each other questions like this. Say,
Yes.
would you rather fight a python or fight a cheetah? Would you rather fight a shark or a tiger?
Excellent.
Before I moved here, I probably
Yeah.
would be really scared.
Yeah,
Didn't know
before
what
you
to-
lived on Lantau.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. I probably would be screaming and
Yeah,
running.
yeah, hysterical.
As fast as I could. These days, we actually, in the past nearly 6 years, we lived on South Lantau. We have come across many occasions with different kind of snakes,
Yes.
even in our back garden.
Yes.
So now I think I could really appreciate the beauty
Yes.
of the python, and,
Yes.
and just see what it's going to do, because now I understand that if I'm not going to provoke it or do
Yeah.
something stupid,
Yeah.
it probably will leave me alone.
Best advice you were given?
Being taught about the importance of self-love.
Yes.
The advice was lacking self-love,
Yeah.
feeling I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, is actually the root cause of all our problems. That advice changed my life for better, probably the best,
Yeah.
because I grew up without my parents, so
Right.
I had quite a tough childhood.
Yeah.
And I had very little self-love.
Yes.
Because, since my parents didn't want me, why?
Oh, Shirley.
So for me, I thought that
Yeah.
not that lovable, and
Yes.
unconsciously I
Yes.
sort of try to look for external sources. So it created lots of heartaches for me,
Yeah.
to end up having relationship that shouldn't happen in the first
Yes.
place, and learning what self-love is, and
Yes.
the importance of it, and how to love myself.
Now, the next question normally is, I live in Hong Kong because, for you, you were born in Hong Kong.
Yes.
So, do you mind telling me a little bit about where you were born in Hong Kong? And
Yes, I was born and grew up on the Kowloon side.
yes,
And then when I became independent and worked, and I put myself through university, and I also received a
Wow.
scholarship to study in Japan. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
did part of my university study in Kyoto.
yes. Oh, and Kyoto is a lovely
yeah,
city.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah. The
really
women dressing up.
loved it. Yeah.
I love it.
I think that was the first time in my life to truly appreciate the seasonal changes.
Yes.
Because I always thought that the seasonal changes would be summer, winter,
Yeah.
like in Hong Kong. But in
Yeah.
Hong Kong, you can't actually see the seasonal
It's
changes.
yeah, that's right. You don't have the trees changing colours
Yeah.
like you do in Kyoto, and the
Exactly.
blossoms.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
have the cherry blossom in spring, and then
Yeah.
in summer probably is the most boring in terms of the
Yes.
environmental
Yeah,
change.
you're
But they
right.
have lots of called Matsuri,
Yeah.
different festival
Yeah.
in summer, and it's very, very festive
Yes.
and very nice. And then of course the maple leaves, gorgeous, stunning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Breathtaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
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 And the winter they have I think for winter some parts of it, like in Kyoto, it snows.
Yeah.
And they the very poetic scenery would be at the temples.
Yes.
There are many
Oh,
temples.
the temples are beautiful in
Beautiful.
Kyoto.
When I was there, my university was close to a temple called the Golden Temple, the Kingakuji.
Yes, I think we went to that.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's just out of the world
Yes.
when it snows. And the way they talk is also very elegant. Because when we were there, we were told that, because it's in Kansai, close to Osaka, we'll be learning Kansai Ben, what they call Kansai Ben.
Yes.
It's more rough, more working class.
Yes, yeah.
For English, would be working class
Yes.
language. But because Kyoto was the ancient capital of Japan, the way they talk is a thing called the Kyoto band. It's very elegant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt very lucky that I had the environment, the
Yes.
immersion of the language
Yeah.
to talk like that. So when I started working, I was still using my Japanese. I was working for a Japanese company, and then I
Oh.
worked for a French company looking after the
Oh.
Japanese market.
Yeah.
And very often say, I love the way you speak. You speak
You learnt
in
the
Kyoto
best.
band. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite area of Hong Kong?
On a daily basis, of course, is South Lantau.
Yeah.
Where I'm always inspired by the
Yes.
environment, by nature. But because I'm a city girl through and through,
Yeah,
every now and
yeah,
then
you
I
are.
need to go back to the city to feel the energy. It's the only place that I can put on my high heels, because here on South Lantau, I probably will be either wearing my flip-flops or
Yeah.
my rain boots.
Yeah, I know.
But for a girl, every now and then we need to dress up. I think mostly will be South Lantau, and if I want some city fix, I would go
Yeah.
to Central,
Yeah.
FPT, Hong Kong Island.
I want to explore a little bit about who is Shirley Johnson and what do you do now. So you mentioned earlier you lived in Hong Kong, you moved to Kyoto to go to university, then you moved back to Hong Kong. What sort of year is that?
I finished my last year in Hong Kong. I really enjoyed living there, but it was nearly 20 years ago.
Yes.
I
okay.
think I think the Japanese society has not changed much, even now. I think I realized as a woman, I wouldn't want to work in Japan unless I have already established a career.
Okay.
And I could start from on the higher rank of the tree.
Yeah. Because they're very hierarchical, the Japanese, aren't they?
Yes.
So, so what you're saying is unless you were high enough up the tree, you wouldn't get the respect being a female still.
Yes,
is that right?
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It is a very male-dominated
it's
society.
still, I think it's still the case.
Yeah. What were your first jobs then in Hong Kong, having come out of university?
I worked very briefly with a travel agency that cater Japanese clients, but soon I was being headhunted to work for Nissan.
Ah, nice.
Work for the headquarters for the whole China market. After a couple of years, the office had to be closed because in China they changed the motor policy that the headquarters had to be located within China, mainland China.
Okay,
yeah, they didn't count Hong Kong as part of it.
Okay.
It was very interesting. It was many years ago now, but it was a blessing in disguise actually, because by chance I saw some recruitment advertising of the luxury brand Hermes.
Yeah.
They were looking for a Japanese speaking executive to help them with the Japanese travel retail market, and I applied and I got the job.
Okay.
So that started my career with the luxury brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
When was this? Sort of 2000s?
2005, 2006.
2005,
2006, long ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and then since then I've worked for like a couple of big luxury groups.
Yes.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I also travel a lot. And also my husband, my boyfriend back then, we travel like crazy.
Okay.
I had my suitcase lying open for 365
Oh.
days. And then when my husband and I decided to get married and start a family, we decided I should be the one who, take a step back.
Okay,
in terms of a job.
Yes.
But
I guess you wanted to anyway, did you, naturally, as you were pregnant, as a mother, did you feel you wanted to be with the children? Or
even before that, I wanted to take a break before we had our first child.
Yeah.
But it's another story because of my struggle. I actually have developed a much positive mindset.
Yes.
Which helped me now as a parent. Yeah. So after that, when we finally happily pregnant and expecting our first child, one day I was reading newspaper and I saw a luxurious I think that's Botanica Bay on Cheung Sha, and then suddenly my baby gave me a strong kick in the tummy.
Yes.
And I was like, oh. And then we thought, oh, what's that on the newspaper?
Yes.
And then I went home and talked to my husband and said, oh, should we look into a property in South Lantau? I was looking at a very glamorous, super luxe develelment picture.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So when you were looking at the picture, okay, that's interesting.
I was looking at the picture, and it's not only the cake. It's just I don't know if you have ever heard from a pregnant woman. When you're pregnant, you sort of had open up the senses.
Yes.
I felt like that is something that I have to look into.
Yeah.
We visited different villages, and it was Tonfoka that captured our imagination.
Yes.
When we went to the beach, we could imagine our children running around, having fun.
Okay, so your unborn child chooses Lantau, South Lantau, and what year did you move to Tonfoka?
It was 2016. We bought our house in 2015, and then we moved in after our daughter was born.
You have two children.
Yes.
Son and a daughter.
Yes.
Jasmine and Max.
Max, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of got to know you. You moved here, so 2016. I probably got to know you in 2018, 2019 through your business, Lantau Ren.
Lantau Ren, yes.
So I think with your experience that you'd gained at Hermes and at the French fashion houses, you then set up Lantau Ren.
Yes, I was actually very inspired after living here because all my life I used to live in the city, and suddenly this expanse of space. I've always been a very creative person. I like designing, I like writing, so and I had all these ideas that came to me, and of course because of my background, I did lots of retail, wholesale, and working with the factory on all these different kind of promotional merchandises. So I think it was a natural
progression or whatever.
To try to have an outlet for my creativity, which could also make use of my experience. And it was a good balance because I wanted to, after trying so hard, we finally have the children, I wanted to dedicate my priority to looking after my family. But at the same time, I would like to maintain my personal growth, and I know that through doing this business Lantau Ren thing, I could get to know the community.
Yes.
Just like you and me.
Yeah, we're the same, aren't we? The community's got to know me, and I've got to know it through the shop. And similar with you, with Lantau Ren, I think people have found you online, and people. It's quite a neural society, Lantau, isn't it? We all kind of are aware of each other, even if we don't know each other well. We have conversations on Facebook and all this sort of thing. So. Yes,
and what I really love, like you said, negative competition.
Yes.
I always find that people here just always try to collaborate and try to lift each other up.
Yes.
Instead of try to, the actual commercial world, you try to
put them out of business.
Out of business.
No, you're right. I think that's that. Yeah, definitely. I think, and I hadn't thought of it that way actually, but I think that there is that spirit here, isn't there? We support each other.
Coming from where I came from, of course I had plenty of chances to see the cutthroats.
Definitely.
Business world.
Hong Kong, Japan.
And so I this is really refreshing.
Yes.
And,
I mean, for those that don't know, we sell Lantau Ren products in the shop here at Vibe.
When I made the face mask.
Yes.
You were the one who just took the leap there and said, yes, bring them on.
Yeah. Well, you were making them like a mad woman, Shirley. Really, weren't you? You were turning those face masks out by the tens, by the hundreds. And it was at the right time because you couldn't buy them out there, could you really?
Yes,
it was right at the start of COVID.
That time we really needed masks because
we did.
Also family reason that we had to frequent hospital a lot, and we actually didn't have the time or resources to go and line up 2 a.m. somewhere just to get the mask. Also because of my background that I used to be in fashion, I found the plain paper mask not only not eco-friendly but also very boring. But I actually didn't know how to sew.
Oh really?
Yes.
Well, I thought you were a seasoned seamstress when you
well, my husband actually got me a sewing machine back in 2014 for Christmas. With the mask, I actually had no idea where I could buy them. So I said okay, and I have some fabrics at home because making a mask you just need a piece of scrap material.
Right,
It's actually very eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So that what I did in the end, I ordered from some textile maker. I bought from their scrap.
Yeah, what they called offcuts. Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So it was very eco-friendly in a way that I'm making reusable masks.
Which would normally be thrown away.
Yeah.
They were our best sellers last year, and since COVID, they've been a saviour to all of the local community. And people would come in here and say, "Have you got one of Shirley's masks?" And I think the beauty of them also was that you were smart enough to come up with the two-sided design, and also child and adult masks. I think that was a clear thing that needed to be done that wasn't necessarily out there at that time. You're still ticking away with Lantau Ren, and we have your cushions I'm just staring at now, but you've got a new platform.
Yes.
What's that called, and what's the idea of it?
Okay, so first of all, don't laugh at the name. It's called Tonfoka.
Tongfuker, okay.
Yeah.
After Tong Fuk, which is the village that you live in.
Yes.
So Tongfuker.
Yes, so it's actually not only me. We are a team of 4 people. So how we came up with Tonfoka was because we love the sun and beach. As you know, every now and then we see lots of rubbishes being offshore.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something about it. We believe that it doesn't have to be extreme, that we have to give up everything. We can compromise and meet halfway. Try to make our lifestyle more sustainable. So that's how we came up with Tonfoka. So a bit different from Lantau Ren. Lantau Ren is more like all of the merchandise there were my design.
Yes.
But with Tonfoka, it's more a platform to have sustainable lifestyle products. So besides what I design, like these earrings made of plants.
Oh.
Yeah, so these are made of plants. Yeah. These actually are the bestseller of Lantau Ren.
Okay.
Yes.
When you say they're made of plants, what sort of plants?
So
I don't know any that look like
made
that.
in Chiang Mai. Not only we try to use sustainable materials for the product, we also try to have that community sense of social responsibility.
Yeah.
So these earrings are made by families in rural Chiang Mai.
Okay.
So the artisans, they go into the jungle to cut the fishtail palm leaves.
Okay, fishtail palm.
They come up with the shape of the fan.
Yeah,
and
that's the
actual bamboo.
Okay, that's actual bamboo.
Yeah. So they handcraft them into this shape and then paint with 24 karat gold. And then they hand painted where you see the lilac part.
Yes.
Yes. So basically also support livelihood. And otherwise where employment is very limited.
Yes.
We have this water resistant beach bag made of recycled plastics.
Yes.
And then they made by women in East Java.
Right.
Yeah, so we have built a platform like this.
Yes.
And we also collaborate with people who live on South Lantau, because once we start this, we realize there are many people who are doing similar things.
Yes.
So we just started our collaboration with a lady lives on Cheung Sha. She had her own beach towel brand. That's each of her beach towel is made of 22 pieces of plastic bottles.
You wouldn't think you could make a towel from plastic bottles, would you?
Exactly. And actually,
that's brilliant.
We did our own research. There has been studied that in probably less than 2 decades of time, the only available source of plastic is recycled plastic.
Yes.
Isn't that
that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
That would be fabulous. Yeah. 20 years is too long, but still, if that would be the case, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So we're very excited because we're also waiting for our sunglasses to arrive. We hope that we can have some of them here.
Yes,
so
you can.
We have designed and developed a line of sunglasses that made out of recycled plastic.
Okay.
So each pair of sunglasses is made out of 3 to 4 consuming plastic bottles that could otherwise end up in landfills or in the ocean.
So that's the frame as well as the glass, is it? for
yes,
sunglasses?
so the lenses will be made of resin, so natural material, but the whole frame and handles are made out of 3 to 4 pieces of plastic bottles. And only last week, I found out one of our neighbors, she just launched a zero waste skincare brand.
Okay.
That she made this tablet that would dissolve into water, so you don't end up buying bottles of facial wash or facial cream.
Detergents and things.
So that's very exciting, and only because we started this Tonfoka platform, we started to have people coming to us say, I'm actually doing the same thing, let's collaborate. And that's the beauty of being here.
The Tongfuka thing, how do we find it at the moment? Is it on a website?
It's on a website.
And Facebook?
It's www.Tonfoker, TONGFUKER.com.
Okay.
Yes, so there you can find lots of eco-sustainable products. We try to make something really boring fun. So one of the main very important initiative is bamboo toothbrush.
Okay.
When we did our survey, we realized despite bamboo toothbrush being out for a long time, it's 100% biodegradable. Many people are still using plastic.
Yes.
And also, we offer personalization. We do engraving on the toothbrushes.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Because we find that it's very encouraging, motivating especially to children. But when you have the names on it, they feel like they own something, and then it's actually much more fun. We started to collaborate with my favorite charity in Hong Kong called Impact Hong Kong.
Impact Hong Kong, okay.
Yeah, so I think the founder, Jeff, is also a resident of South Lantau, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a really well-run charity that they help the homeless people in the city.
Yeah.
So for every bamboo toothbrush we sell through Tonfoka, we donate one to them. Impact Hong Kong, their motto is kindness matters.
Okay.
That's how they started the group, the team, to help the homeless people in Hong Kong, and they have done a phenomenal job.
Okay.
Very, very well run. Very efficient.
So people can look them up, can't they? That's probably impacthongkong.com or something like that.
Yeah, you can easily Google.
I'll put the two on the podcast. I'll put Lantau Ren website, I'll put the Tong Fuker website, and I'll put the Impact Hong Kong website.
Thank you. That would be great. Yes.
So I would imagine you're going to be coming to me asking if I can stock Tong Fuker products next, aren't you?
Yes.
For this year, I thought it's time to diversify a little bit. You know, people love us for books and records and music and videos and things, but I think, you know, we can be more diverse as well, and as the community is diverse. So the other thing, Shirley, that I got to know you for was, other than Lantau Ren, you started to pass me these books by an author called Orchid Bloom.
Yes.
And I thought, who's Orchid Bloom? And then it turns out to be you. So you've written 3 or 4 books now, haven't you?
Yes. It's all inspired by personal experience and me living here.
Yeah.
So I have one book called My Roller Coaster Ride to Motherhood. So it was sort of fiction, but most of the story based on real life events of my personal struggle to start a family. But the core, the essence of the book is it was a blessing in disguise for me, because it was when I really take a step back to look at my life and start healing all my childhood trauma.
Yes.
And because of the journey, I even found my biological mother. And being someone who had experienced the heartbreaks and the disappointment, the struggles,
tough start.
I wanted to be able to even just like a handful of women who are struggling.
Yes.
Can have a voice for them that and because in the book I try to make it more humorous.
Yes.
Make it light and
keep it light. I understand you've got a new book that you've been working on that's going to be out very soon.
Yes, and and first of all, thank you for willing to read the manuscript and give me the feedback that I value a lot. And it's a book about my son's cancer journey, about how I emotionally coped with my son's diagnosis. It's not supposed to be a sad read. I wanted to share the emotions that I went through because of the diagnosis. And it's basically same emotions as everybody will will feel when they are being thrown a big challenge in life. And so the aim of the book is to show how I turn this negative emotion into positive energy. And actually had a very positive impact on how I look after my son and how I help him to recover. So I hope that I will be able to help other parents and family in the same boat, or even just people struggling. Another important aim of the book is to advocate more funding and researches on treatments that are not conventional chemo or radiation, that's actually of high toxicity and harmful damages, especially for children.
As you say, you've given me the manuscript. I've been reading bits of it, and that's what comes across. Basically, you've had a monumental struggle with your son, and I think that to go through that struggle and hold the family together, and to be able to react and go through all of that, what that hospital care, etc., with somebody you love dearly who's so young, is such a tough thing. But then to be able to put that into words to try and help somebody else is just outstanding and commendable.
I actually didn't think of writing anything about it. But a friend of mine, she said to me, "Oh, you really have to write a book about this or this." And I said, "Well, I actually have heard even worse story, more sad story around this." So I thought about what I could write about that could actually benefit people who read the book. And then I came to the conclusion, especially when so many friends and people I know ask me, how could you do it? How could you still stay happy and positive? I thought you would be crying your heart out.
I would have thought so as well, Shirley. And I'm sure you were in your own moments.
I think this after the initial shock, but I said to myself, and also because thanks to all the healing work I did before when I struggled to have babies, it's actually helped me to process and try to maintain the right mindset to face the challenge.
So that book is going to be available soon, is it? Will we be able to sell it in the shop, or will it be online?
I'd love to if you
Absolutely,
of
course. Shirley Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
You can listen to all our VIBErations podcasts published on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon Music, TuneIn and Alexa, Stitcher, Listen Notes, Player FM, SoundCloud, and a few others. Or you can watch on our YouTube channel under Live at VIBEHK. Or follow the links from my website at vibehk.com. Our next podcast will feature an interview with Pete Spurrier of Blacksmith Books fame. The opening and closing music is from my good mate, also a Tong Fuker, Pete Millward. It's called Green Island Dub by Celestial and is on the Retrospect vinyl album, on sale at Vibe. Finally, a reminder that Vibe is open 7 days a week, every day of the year, from 12 noon until approximately 6:30 p.m. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for listening to the 32nd Vibe Book and Music Shop podcast called VIBErations. I'm Gary Brightman. You get my vibe?
Can you imagine what this old island must have looked like to those Dutch sailors when they first saw it? Fresh green. Like a dream of a new world.
They must have held their breath. Afraid it would disappear before they could touch it.